Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. I am making this video not really in any sort of series or anything like that. I really just want to talk about my first impressions of the Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania trailer, which was released today, as well as give my predictions for what's going to happen in the movie. I'm going to try to do these for some of the trailers that come out from here on out, but I just wanted to quickly give you guys my quick thoughts and sort of share, what I think is going to happen in the movie. So if you haven't seen the trailer, I'll leave a link down below for you all to check it out. I'm not going to play any of the recording because I think that is just bordering on the copyright with YouTube, so I'm not even going to try it. But basically what it looks like is, first of all, to get this out of the way, this is going to be a completely different change of tone from any of the Ant-Man movies we've seen beforehand. You can tell immediately by the trailer this is going to be dark. It's not going to be as comedic. There will still be some comedic elements, but I think that this is going to be a much darker MCU film. I think this is really going to set up things to come. And with that being said, what happens in the trailer is that we see sort of the aftermath of everything that happened in Endgame with Scott Lang. Of course, we know from Ms. Marvel that he has a podcast, he's an author, he's a well-known figure. And we see him going around and we see him, enjoying what it means to be famous. And then we see Catherine Newton playing Cassie Lang, and she comes up with an invention to send a beacon to the quantum realm. And Janet Van Dyne says, no, don't do that. And all of a sudden, they get sucked in. And the interesting thing, for me at least, is that the quantum realm really reminded me of Star Wars. There was a lot of, very odd, displaced creatures there. It felt, like they were riding on the dunes in one scene. It was all really interesting, and I'm really interested to see how they sort of build this depth of, a new sort of area in the Marvel Cinematic Universe that we're going to explore. And I don't think this will be the last time we see the quantum realm, because arguably the biggest reveal of the trailer is that we got to see a comic-accurate Kang finally released, Jonathan Majors. Now, he's not playing the same character from the Loki series. He's playing a version of Kang the Conqueror. The person that we saw at the end of the Loki series was He Who Remains, a much more tamer version of Kang. I have a feeling that we will be seeing Kang in at least 2 or 3 more series before we get to Kang Dynasty. In fact, I can go ahead and tell you. I am firmly of the belief that we will see him during Loki, and I'm going to go ahead and give you guys this. I'm going to probably make a video on this at some point, but I have a firm belief that Rama Tut, another variant of Kang, will end up being the villain of the Fantastic Four movie. Again, we'll get to that at some point, but I think that the Kang the Conqueror variant, however, is considered to be the main version of Kang. And just on a pure power scaling wise, Ant-Man and the Wasp are no match for Kang. Even with Cassie Lang having, the Pym particles and things of that nature, still real no match for Kang. And we really start to see how menacing of a character Kang can be. And going back to the Star Wars vibes, we see that there is an army that's being built up by Kang. And it really gave me Attack of the Clones vibes. And I'll just be very interested to see what comes of that. Now, overall, my predictions for what's going to happen in the movie. If you don't want spoilers, I'd go ahead and end the video here. And please share your thoughts down below if you're going to step out right now. But my overall thoughts on the trailer is that what I think is going to happen is that Kang is going to end up taking Cassie Lang hostage. What we're going to find out that Janet Van Dyne, while she was there in the quantum realm, she knew about Kang, and she actively tried to escape. And now that she's back, she worries that Kang is going to be there for revenge. I think we're going to find out that Yellow Jacket Darren Cross is the version of M.O.D.O.K that we will find in the quantum realm. I really don't know much about Bill Murray's character. We see Bill Murray in the trailer, but I really don't have much idea of what's going on there. And I think that overall, if I had to give you guys my honest prediction, I think that two characters are not going to make it out alive, and I think those two characters are Janet Van Dyne and Scott. I think that Ant-Man is going to bite the bullet. I think that that's probably not a far out assumption, but I think based on the trailer, and again, even thinking about the song they used in the trailer, Yellow Brick Road, which, if you don't know, Yellow Brick Road, written by Elton John, a great song, is basically about a man who wants success, but then feels like he is displaced, and everything feels so fake once he's found stardom. And again, we sort of, I think, are going to see this progression of Scott, and it's going to eventually have him going back to having to be a thief for Kang. And I think what's going to end up happening is he's going to try to cross Kang, and he's going to be the first victim of Kang the Conqueror. Now, how do I think that this movie is going to play into the overall MCU? I think this movie might be one of the more important movies, if I'm being honest. I don't think that. Well, I think that maybe the first Ant-Man movie didn't really have that much of an impact on the overall MCU, but the second one, Endgame, would not have happened without it. And I think this is going to be the catalyst that will launch the MCU forward. And by that I mean, I feel like what's going to happen is this movie, we will see the repercussions in Captain America, New World Order. And I think that will be because in New World Order, we will see the first look at the new Avengers. And I think that Cassie Lang and Wasp will be the people to sort of come back and say, Scott's dead, this guy killed him, and Kang's coming, and we need to be prepared. I think we're going to see a lot of stuff with Hulk in Captain America, just because I think that we're going to see again the new Avengers team, and I think there's going to be a huge debate, since we know the leader is the villain of that movie, that there's going to be something about Hulks being used to fight the Kang Dynasty War that's about to come. I also would not be surprised if we get introduced to the Fantastic Four in that movie. Reed Richards and Jonathan Majors are somewhat related down the line. I don't know exactly. That's my bad. Not, not something that actually happens in the comic books. I just don't know how far back their lineage goes. But overall, I think that's what we're going to see. Is we're going to see this directly into Captain America, and I think Captain America will be the main movie that will lead us to Kang Dynasty. Of course, there's going to have to be everything else that comes between that, but I think if you're talking about the lead up to Avengers 5 and 6, I think it'll be Ant-Man's death in Ant-Man the Wasp Quantumania, how the Avengers react in Captain America New World Order, and potentially what happens in the Fantastic Four movie, which will directly lead to Kang Dynasty. And overall, that's my predictions for, what I think is going to happen. And I think it's going to be a very great movie. You'll start to see when I start talking more in depth about my MCU Phase 4 films that I've not been a huge fan of most of them, but just thinking of the first 3 films that are going to be released in Phase 5, that being Ant-Man, Guardians, and then the Marvels, I'm very excited, and Ant-Man looks very promising. So with that being said, again, please leave your comments about what you thought about the trailer down below, and I look forward to reading them and hopefully responding to them. And stay tuned for Moon Knight, my thoughts, coming out this Saturday. I'll see you all then. Take care.